not just provide better oral sex, but encompass the entire male experience. This is a follow-up to a recent post. Story 1. When I say I want a bit of space to read a book or play a game, it is not a comment on her. I just need some time to not talk to people. Story 2. Always having to be the initiator makes us feel uncomfortable. Do you want to drive your partner crazy? Tell them that you want them and watch them become putty in your hands. Story 3. The pleasure you give me during sex is primarily mental. I like sex and it definitely feels good, but so does masturbation. What I actually like about sex is feeling desired, validated, and knowing I'm doing a good job while you're really into it. I love vaginas and I love sex, but the difference between okay sex and really exquisitely pleasurable sex is the look on your face, the words that come out of your mouth, and the energy I feel from your body. That stuff is extremely important to me and many other men, yet society and most women often don't see that for what it is. Story 4. Aftercare is important for men too. Behavior is just as important, if not more, than looks when it comes to attractiveness during intimacy. Some men like cuddles. Sometimes we like being the little spoon. Effort is a two-way street. There is a reason some people think being enthusiastic equals attractiveness. It is the enthusiasm. Men want to feel wanted too. Initiative is attractive. Communication goes both ways and makes everything better. Our backsides should be touched too. An erection does not always mean we are in the mood. Conversely, lack of an erection does not mean we are not in the mood. It has a mind of its own. Story 5. I do not know about other men, but I love hugs, massages, running fingers through my hair and beard, being the small spoon, and scratches. Also, it is good to try other places, such as in the shower, on a table, sofa, rug, car, or living room. Story 6. My pleasure is directly codependent on her pleasure. I cannot have a good time unless she is having a good time. So please, ladies, tell me very clearly how you need to be pleased. No embarrassment, no shame, so we can both have an amazing time. Story 7. I don't know about all men, but I get great pleasure helping my wife experience several orgasms before I have mine. It's exciting to watch her enjoy herself. Story 8. For men, sex and physical affection are about play and connection, not just achieving orgasm. When women do not make it a priority, it can be damaging to the relationship. Story 9. Your interest and effort in our intimate life mean a lot to me. Please do not minimize my need for it as some superficial motivation. It is how I connect. Story 10. There is a difference between simply having an erection, feeling aroused, and being turned on. Being turned on is a higher level of arousal. It is like having a second shifter for the high gears. Story 11. There is nothing more attractive than enthusiasm. If you make him feel like you are just going through the motions, you are lost from the start. Enthusiasm, passion, or whatever you want to call it, there is no substitute. Story 12. There is a speed at which your touch causes an incredible feeling of care. It can be used on all parts of the body. If you want to feel it for yourself, try rubbing your forearm at different speeds and pressures until you experience a tingling sensation. This works on our lower halves and is euphoric. That feeling is a great technique for disarming negative emotional expressions. Other examples for me include nibbling on my ears, whispering, playing with my hair, back scratching, and forehead kissing. Each is significant to me and helps bring forth a more hopeful, calmer, and satisfied self. They are my ultimate way to bring pleasure to my soul. Story 13. Sort of like women, we are not all the same. It is okay if it is a little intimidating, but if we are taking the time to learn you, take the time to learn us. Story 14. Just be genuine. It goes beyond sex. It is best to connect with your partner in a loving way. That is why I call it making love. Story 15. You give your man random oral pleasure, and he is going to struggle with reasons to leave. Takes about 5 minutes of effort, but you have locked that person in a stronghold for life. Story 16. Some of us would love some physical intimacy that is not penetration. I am a sapphic lesbian trapped in a 45-year-old cisgender heterosexual male body. Story 17. Friggin' spontaneity. There is nothing more thrilling than the woman you are interested in suddenly offering intimacy. Catches us off guard, but commit to the moment and do not lose confidence. Story 18. A basic orgasm and ejaculation only scratch the surface of male pleasure. Men need to understand this too. I have experienced sensations through edging that I could hardly believe were real. Imagine the sensation from a normal touch amplified at least tenfold, where even a light touch with the tip of your finger sends a sensation throughout your member and feels better than your entire rod inside during intercourse. With control, you can extend this experience as long as you like, enjoying several orgasms before a mind-boggling finish when desired. It is easier said than done, of course. Holding off can be incredibly difficult due to arousal levels increasing dramatically, so it is not easy. Handle with care as well. If you let it get soft but remain highly aroused, you can accidentally misfire and lose the experience. Story 19. I like snuggling, cuddling, hugs, holding hands, and all that. For instance, I went to a strip club for the first time last year and paid for a private dance. I asked her if I could hold her hand shyly, and she said not to be embarrassed because many guys ask for that. Of course, she could have been lying to me, but I believe there are many people who like holding hands too. Story 20. If you are a mother, do not have your son circumcised, as it removes erogenous tissue and multiple light touch nerve bundles. Boys deserve bodily autonomy as well. Story 21. We are not available all day, every day, multiple times a day. Men receive criticism for watching pornography, rightfully so, but women also receive many negative messages from it. Story 22. Give better oral stimulation. God damn it, learn how to perform effectively. Be enthusiastic. Show genuine interest. At least act like you care. At least act like you want to be there pleasing him. If you don't care, then learn how to pretend. Learn how to handle it properly. Learn where the sensitive spots are. Use your whole body, hands, mouth, legs. Do not remain stiff and motionless. Story 23. Physical touch isn't always about sex. Sometimes just running your fingers through our hair, resting your head on our chest, or holding our hand without asking means more than any action in bed. Story 24. From my experience counseling couples, men often feel immense pressure to perform perfectly every time. Sometimes they just want to be held and feel desired without any expectations. It is not always about the end goal. Story 25. Women think if men ejaculate, then it means they liked the sex, and nothing could be further from the truth. Unlike women, where an orgasm usually means they rated the sex, men can ejaculate on command, and it really isn't a reflection of how they rated the sex. Enthusiasm and passion go a long way. Men want to feel desired too. Many women think they just need to lie there looking attractive, and that's it. Story 26. You mean sexually? The nerve endings of the penis that lead to orgasm are on the underside. The top of the penis has very little sensation. Take that information and run with it. Story 27. Women are just as bad at pleasing men as men are at pleasing women. Just because they are lying down and men eventually reach orgasm from masturbating with their partners does not mean men are actually satisfied. They have to be proactive and also try to engage in kinks their partner might have. As a bisexual man, the difference between men and women trying to please me is huge. I have never had a woman beg me to perform oral sex. Story 28. I think confidence is very attractive. Even if you have to fake it until you make it, showing confidence is very appealing. For some men, it may be just as important as physical appearance. Story 29. Bottom line, men want their partner to truly acknowledge his orgasm, talk about it with him, tease him, make it last, laugh, stop and play, edge him to orgasm repeatedly, extend it, and even take control so he isn't sure when or if he will ejaculate. Eye contact, rub just under the head with light circles. Talk to him about the impending release he has saved and built up and how excited you are to see it all and how far he will ejaculate. When you stop him from ejaculating, give him a pouty face or a laughing face. When you finally let him ejaculate, act amazed and genuine about it. Count the shots as he ejaculates or collect his fluid with your fingers and tell him how thick it is. See if you can give him a partial or even ruined orgasm so he can continue to stay on the edge. All things along these lines. Story 30. Refractory periods are different for everyone. Many of us cannot reciprocate immediately afterward. Get your reward first no matter how much we complain. But then realize no one wants to perform oral sex for 45 minutes, so some of you have a similar kind of problem. Story 31. Please don't just lie there or focus only on the one position you like best. Some variety is nice, especially if we don't have to request it. Our not wanting to have sex on occasion is not a judgment on your character or the relationship. Liking certain things more than others is also not a statement about your abilities in a given activity or position. If we do a certain thing really well, tell us. Contrary to some beliefs, knowing we did a great job can be just as important as our own orgasms. Understand the refractory period and don't take it personally. Story 32. I don't know how this will go over, but seriously, can I get a meal? A sandwich? A cold drink? That would be nice. I will put this tongue to use for a long time if my tummy is happy. Just saying. Story 33. While there are clearly similarities, each experience is unique to the individual. Just like with them, going to the internet to ask for answers about something so personal to the individual is unwise. Story 34. Had a male friend with benefits who taught me that the inner thighs are much more sensitive than I thought. Light kisses and touches there would make him shiver every time. Story 35. Always being the initiator makes you feel unwanted. Objectify me once in a while, but not as an object like an automated teller machine. Story 36. Swallowing while maintaining eye contact is a surefire way to drive a stake through my soul and bind me to you forever. Story 37. Please allow me to pleasure you first and understand that when a man is with a woman he truly loves, he wants to have intimate moments with her often, not with other women, just her. Story 38. I want to say that when giving oral sex, I like to lightly massage around the anus with one finger when men are ready to ejaculate, but reading the comments and seeing that the thread is much more civilized than that. Story 39. It might look good in adult films, but licking the shaft does not really do anything except being visually appealing. Story 40. They are terrible at manual stimulation. I would rather do almost anything else than receive manual stimulation. For example, if my options were playing Scrabble or receiving manual stimulation, I would choose playing Scrabble. Story 41. Just being interested, making an effort, and both giving and receiving would put you ahead of 90% of the group who believe that simply showing up and agreeing is all that is required. Story 42. There are many books available about male anatomy and sexual skills, both for how to please women and how to please men. Any man you want will be happy to read and apply She Comes First if you are reading Blow Him Away. Story 43. I love when a woman takes control. I will just leave it at that. If I go any further, it will sound like an erotic novel. Story 44. Most men do not like the pursuit. It is a game about power dynamics and jumping through hoops. Like a posh French aristocrat running into the hedge maze and trying to playfully hide from you while still wanting you to find them. Most men would rather walk into the maze while holding the woman's hand. Story 45. Putting in just a small amount of effort is enough to make most men happy and feel loved. It is really not that hard, and yes, the bar is that low. Story 46. The inner foreskin, including foreskin remnants and the scar line, is our most erogenous area, not the glands or tip. Story 47. Most men are visual creatures. If a woman shows she is experiencing pleasure while pleasing her partner, it enhances the experience for most men. Actions speak louder than words. Story 48. I am not good at mind games. I am very shy, but I actually like straightforward communication. We will have more time for fun and break down barriers if we both get straight to the point. Story 49. My girlfriend calls me a piece of meat every time I see her. She is constantly objectifying me because I am a personal trainer. Whenever I come over, she insists on touching me and demands to be touched back. Sometimes, all I am trying to do is relax due to the demanding nature of my job. Then, she will not let me leave the room. Ever. Story 51. I am sometimes horny but too tired to put energy into actual sex where I am expected to return the favor as well. So I just masturbate instead. It does not mean I do not want my partner. It just means I am not in the physical condition to do so. I just want to free my mind from the feeling of horniness. Not push myself when I am already tired. Not all ejaculation or orgasm feels the same. It is very easy for us to reach ejaculation, but they do not all feel the same intensity. Some are very mild, shorter than others, and are really whatever. It can be frustrating for men to have sex and put in most of the effort for a result they are barely satisfied with and cannot even repeat again due to their refractory period being potentially very long. I have about one attempt every 12 hours, sometimes fewer attempts. Some men need to ejaculate to orgasm, some do not. I personally need to. Visual triggers work a lot on us. Do not downplay them. Psychological triggers also work, but I guess those are less gender-specific. We want our preferences to be considered if possible. As you have seen in the previous post, many men are expected to accommodate the preferences and desires of their partner, but the reverse is very rarely taken into consideration. It is not unusual for men to want to be objectified sexually. Most of us feel undesirable from a sexual point of view. Faster does not mean better. Our genitals are sensitive. Some women give hand stimulation furiously as if it were a metal pole. Story 51. A man's efforts or advances are not always appreciated or encouraged in bed. Men are often too focused on giving or receiving pleasure. From what I have heard from multiple women, it can be difficult for a woman to be fully in the moment sometimes. This is not meant to be judgmental. Some women have a mental checklist and wait every time a man makes a move, and they may or may not communicate what they like or want. The position 69 is well known because both partners can engage and give pleasure at the same time. It is good for the man or woman to take the lead, either in turns or randomly. It is also important to keep warmth on the outside of the body and wetness inside, prolonging and stretching the experience more and more. Story 52. Gentle neck kisses and slow touches along the back drive men absolutely wild. My boyfriend melts when I do this. It is not always about rushing straight to the obvious areas. Sometimes the build-up and anticipation are what make it incredible. Story 53. Sometimes it's actually about literal intimacy and not about what feels best physically. Sometimes it is just a need to relieve oneself, but sometimes it is much more, and the actual sex serves as a framing device, unless this is an attention deficit hyperactivity disorder matter. Story 54. Our pleasures can range from anger to simply sucking on one of your breasts. We are actually pretty easy. Story 55. Teasing in many subtle and not so subtle ways is as rare as it is exciting and immensely pleasurable. Surprising us nonchalantly by wearing lingerie at the right time and place can be a huge turn-on. Playing dominant with the man in many verbal and physical ways is more exciting to men than they are willing to admit. Going faster and harder with hands or mouth does not necessarily make it better. Often the opposite is true. Story 56. Just like the clitoris is sensitive, especially where it can hurt if it is dry, the same is true for the man's glands. Giving a handjob or touching the head when it is completely dry can feel like being poked in the eye. Back and forth rocking while she is on top does almost nothing for us and can barely be felt, but it is greatly appreciated if I am about to ejaculate because it can feel nice to her while also giving me a break so I can continue. Story 57. I think that nothing is ever enough if you really ask a man. It is always about wanting more, perhaps a different position or something new, maybe wearing a new dress or lingerie and similar things. Story 58. Something you need to know is that guys usually only get compliments from their grandmothers and male friends because girls do not compliment us. I do not understand why. Story 59. We are not all obsessed with oral sex, and despite how we are constantly depicted in the media, we are not all selfishly concerned solely with our pleasure. This has significant ramifications. I cannot tell you how many women just assumed that my idea of a special treat was oral sex when I could take it or leave it. This brings me to another point. Ask what we want and like. We are all different. We are not all desperate, overly horny, and fiendish either. Ready to drop our pants at a moment's notice with strong arousal. We like anticipation, sometimes romance, sometimes playful activities, sometimes taboo subjects. Many women seem to think male pleasure is all about specific sexual acts. I blame magazines with their articles on ways to give the best oral sex. But most male desires and kinks are contextual, not physical, just like women's. Story 60. If you want women who initiate, who like sex and will have it more frequently, you have to have that conversation early on when you know it is coming. I told my significant other that I am not a once-a-week kind of guy. I need regular sex, and if that does not sound good to her, we should part ways. I also bring up oral sex. I have to go down on a woman to get fully aroused. I also want oral sex more than just on my birthday. I have had a few relationships end that day, but many more become good relationships. Ask her what she wants too, and be willing to compromise. Story 61. Calling it a favor, service, or a job is a massive turnoff. You know how women like a steady, fixed pace. We do too. Teeth, unless asked for, are the equivalent of us biting you before your climax. It isn't fun for anyone and is downright unpleasant. It doesn't hurt to actually ask what we like. Initiating intimacy is sexier than anything in the world and makes us feel wanted. No means no and works both ways. We may not be in the mood either. That doesn't mean it's okay to force it and then say we don't love you. It just means we weren't in the mood. It's very inappropriate to say, but I'll get you going. Story 62. Your response of "you're crazy" when I woke up at 5 a.m. and told you about my idea of using morphine and sugar to get rats addicted for capture and pest control is not appropriate and makes me feel silly. It is a good idea. Imagine no one would have to worry about dead rats in their walls with that solution. Why is rat poison ethical but morphine is not if they die either way? Story 63. Women understand male pleasure, but they often do not care unless there is something in return for them. Story 64. After I am done, you have about 5 seconds. If you continue, there is a possibility that I will start laughing hysterically and then punch you in the face. It is not personal, but if you know, you know. Story 65. 1. Do not complain. Do not ask for items as soon as he gets home. Do not get angry first, then ask if he wants to do something just because if the answer is no, you will get mad. Do not ask him to do something that requires enthusiasm, then get mad if he is not enthusiastic and is just humoring you. Dress nicely, wear makeup, and keep in shape specifically for him, not anyone else. He will have no idea you are doing it, but do it anyway. Thanks a bunch for sticking around till the end of the video. Remember to subscribe, and until next time, stay awesome and goodbye.